Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates. I am Brett Gogol, flanked here on both of my sides by Eric Willowhite and Chris Labasco. We have a close game here. Cougars are down 3-2 to the Wisconsin Rapids Riverkings. So, guys, going into the third period, I just want to get a general idea as to what do you think the Cougars have to do to not only tie this game, but hopefully take the lead.
Well, I think, as Coach Brad Stouffer said between periods, it's about keeping the play simple. You know, he talked about there's a lot of traffic at the blue line. When that happens, sometimes you do have to chip and chase. Even though that's probably not the style of play that the Cougars like to play, and they don't play that very often, when you're faced with an opponent who's standing you up at the blue line, sometimes those are the things you have to do, and that's what Coach was looking for. I'm sure that's the message he sent to the Cougars between periods.
Right, because that will open up opportunities for you to come in on the rush, which is what the Cougars do want to do. So play that dump and chase game a little bit, open up some opportunities for yourself. You're fast enough to get around these guys anyway. That shouldn't be an issue as it is to dump and chase. So just go with what's simple, do what's going to work, and you should be all right. And here's the thing, too. 13 shots. We already said they almost matched their total for the Wisconsin Rapids Riverkings. They had 6 shots. One of them happened to go in. So you've been eliminating most of their opportunities, which is good. Most of their opportunities came at the end of the period. Got to start limiting those.
And the Cougars really do have to feel a little bit lucky. This game could very easily be 4-2. We had that shot at the end of the third period that went right off the top of the crossbar past Gillis. So going into this third period knowing that it could be a lot worse, I feel like the Cougars might have to they feel like they have to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, and that's where I think they're going to come out with the momentum. So here we're going to get a look at the third. I believe this is the third goal.
This is the one that went off the crossbar. No. So you're going to see just Gillis not able to get over. As nobody was ready for the Riverkings.
He didn't even know where it went. He had no idea where it went, and that's when it developed, when you saw that play develop. Beltrame a little bit laid over. That's on the penalty kill. You have that rotation happen, you have to move.
Here's the power play early on for the Riverkings. They were able to cash in the first period. This is what we talked about, the Coach Stouffer's there. The first period was a tale of two halves. First period half was definitely owned by the Riverkings. And this is goal 2.
You get a shot at second goal here. Just nothing really that Gillis could do after the nice move was put on by the Riverking.
Yeah, Tyler Carey with the nice move to make it 2-0. But then the Cougars took the momentum back here, and as you can see on this goal here by Zavane, circling around, and he'll get the shot through.
So now we are ready to start the third period. I am going to hand it back over to my co-host Eric Willowhite.
All right, thank you very much, Brett. And start of the third period here is underway in the Sears Center. Riverkings over the ice, carry the puck, Van Boekel in. Center ice dumped into the Riverkings zone, chasing after it is Harrison Cole. He's being chased down by Hunter Schiffman all the way down. Big check on Harrison Cole, D on D. So Hunter Schiffman going a long way to make that check in the Riverkings zone. All right, Riverkings has possession. Cole gets it over to Gorellis. Gorellis cues it up. Puck in center ice, taken away by the Cougars, dumped in. Chasing after it for the Cougars is Zantrap. Puck long near board, shot from the point from Palermo. Glove save by Nelson, so nothing really on that one. The quick save, no net traffic. We're going to have a face-off in the Riverkings zone, left wing side for the Cougars.
Well, you had a little bit of traffic, and Jesper Lomberg was out in front. He just couldn't get into a position to deflect the puck, which is what he was trying to do, and I think that's why that shot was a little easy on net.
Nixon with the draw. Cougars won it, unable to control, and the Riverkings dump it into the Cougar zone. Knocked back out by the Cougars, carrying up by Nickerson. Nickerson feeding it over to Raybeck. Raybeck over the blue line, tries to put the puck on net. Zavane in the corner. Nickerson dumping it up to the far point. Olsen knocks it back in. And Nickerson with a nifty pass attempt from his knees gets it to the point. Riverkings able to take control. Puck not kept in the zone and picked up by the Cougars.
Not a bad shot from the point there either. I think Rayback maybe got a little piece of it to deflect it a little bit.
Good defense there by Cody Rayback. Tyler Carey trying to go in on alone on Gillis, and he was able to gum up that play. All right, Lockman carry the puck over to Rayback. Rayback over the red line, center ice red line, into the blue line, into the Riverkings zone, unable to get the puck through to traffic into the goal area. Behind the net for the Riverkings, to the point kept in near point by Palermo. Near board Zavane. Trying to keep that puck in. Puck picked up by Butera. Butera shovels it on net, sticked away by Nelson. Watson knocks it behind the net to Butera and picked up Zavane. Zavane's shot, glove save, quick glove save there by Nelson. Riverkings take control of the puck. Almost a breakaway there for Mats. And Watson carries it in. Puck gets deflected onto the net, and we have a break and play here at 7:15-7 left. 3-2, Riverkings.
You have to wonder at what point of this period you imagine they're going to stay aggressive as you see a replay here of the shot by Watson that gets knocked out of bounds. At what point and how aggressive does Coach Brad Silvers get with bringing his defensemen into the attack, even more so than they normally are?
That's a good point because their defensemen usually are very aggressive, Brett. All right, so Letmansky feeds the puck into Van Dyke. Van Dyke shot on net, saved by Nelson. Drops the puck, but he covers up, a whistle blown, and we're going to have another face-off in the Riverkings zone.
That was in between the pads somewhere. He didn't quite realize where it was on the Van Dyke shot here. You'll watch. He's going to lose it a little bit. He's kind of looking down because he wasn't sure where the puck was.
All right, Van Dyke on the face-off for the Cougars. Cougars win the draw. Zatera tries to make a shot blocked there by Peterson. And Gorellis rings it around the back of the net for the Riverkings to Cole. Cole knocks it up to Peterson. Kept in play by the Cougars. Cougars chasing the puck behind the net. Cole carrying for the Riverkings. Knocks it along the boulevard. Kept inside, though, by the Cougars. Gorellis rings it up to the far boards. Pass attempt block stolen away by the Cougars. Carried into the Riverkings zone. Left at the point for Van Dyke. Van Dyke behind the net. Van Dyke along the near boards. Carrying it to the top, leaving it to the left point, Palermo. Palermo rings it down to Rayback. Back to the left point, Palermo. Palermo swings it over to the right point. Puck knocked away. Van Dyke going in the corner, chasing it with Gorellis. Van Dyke still trying to maintain possession there. Now we got more traffic coming in to the far right wing corner. Puck stuck along the boards there. Play goes on. All right, Cougars come out with it. Rayback centers it in. Oh, nifty play there. Almost a tip-in attempt there by Palermo coming in from the defensive side. Puck knocked down, icing not in play here.
What a great pass from Van Dyke, able to get that puck to Palermo down low.
Puck temporarily stolen away by the Riverkings. Behind the boards, picked up by Nickerson. Swung around to the near corners. Picked up by the Cougars. Shovel outside the zone. Puck picked up. Anthony Zavane coming in. We got a 2-on-1 with Nickerson. Zavane over to Nickerson and a save by Nelson. Big save attempt on a 2-on-1. Zavane to Nickerson and Nelson up to the challenge. Cougars still maintain possession. Riverkings pick it up behind the net. Nickerson going after it far corner. Puck kept in play, knocked out of the Riverkings zone. Cougars take possession back, bringing it into the Riverkings zone. Zavane. Zavane tried to get around Heller, no good there. Kept in at the point. Rayback, near circle, shot on net, save by Nelson, chest save. Zavane dumps it around, swings it around the corner near side, picked up by Gorellis. And knocked outside, and Gorellis trips over the center line there. And Butera coming in, 1-on-3 attempt here. He's just going to throw the puck on net. Hopefully someone was there, but no luck. And the Riverkings trying to come out of their zone, but kept in nicely in the zone by Lawnberg. Palermo, left point, fires the puck on net, tipped wide. Going after the puck for the Riverkings. Van Bokkelen clears it out of the zone. Cougars take it back in. Butera, near point, trying to keep the puck in. Palermo picks up possession, center ice. Dumps the puck in. Here's that chip and chase game that Coach talked about, and Nelson will hold the puck for a whistle.
That's a good decision by Nelson. That was a lot of pressure by the Cougars. They had a second line get out there.
We're going to see a replay here of him stopping the puck, and you can definitely understand why. This is how the Cougars wanted to come out and start the third period. They basically spent all 5+ minutes so far of this period inside of the Riverkings zone.
Right wing face-off won by the Cougars. Coming out of there is Van Bockelen for the Riverkings. Van Bockelen carrying it up the ice, dumps it into the Cougar zone. Behind the net, Schiffman going for it. Tangled up with Reed Kaiser. Van Bockelen behind the net. Shovels it on over. Puck picked up by Lockinen. Puck dumped all the way into the Riverkings zone. Gorellis is going to chase after it. No icing. Icing is waved off on that. Harrison Cole loses the puck. Gorellis picks it up. Traffic, though. Good pressure, good defense here by the Cougars to hem the Riverkings into their own zone. They're having trouble getting zone exits in this period.
A lot of pressure by the Cougars in this period is why that's happening.
So definitely the message, I think, was received loud and clear by the team from Coach Stofers between period. And Rayback with a hefty check there, just throwing aside Harrison Cole. Cole's been on the ice a lot, prone. Shot on net by Van Bockelen, saved by the Cougars.
You get a penalty here on Nickerson for tripping, I believe.
Watch it again. It kind of, it's a little surprised that was going to get called. I didn't think it was.
Break that on Lockinen.
Lockinen spent quite a bit of time here in the box tonight.
You see the big hit there, too, by Rayback.
He creates a good opportunity here. By the way, that line, Svein, Nickerson, and Rayback has been put together once again by Coach Stofers.
All right, puck dumped down into the Riverkings zone. On the power play, the Riverkings they're winning up 3-2 here. Lockinen in the box. Riverkings skating in the zone, Tyler Carey. Carey along the near boards. Behind the net, looking to circle. Getting it out to Austin Luxford, to the point. Morse, Luxford. Tried to swing it over to the far side to Ross Jewell, no luck there. Tyler Carey picks up the puck at the blue line. Feeds it down low to Luxford. Luxford back to Carey. Coming in on net and saved Dylan Gillis from the stuff attempt from Ryan Matz.
It's obviously easier on the power play, but you're getting great pressure here by the Riverkings. And really, they've got some great puck movement going on with their power play. As you'll see, the replay of the last save here, able to send it out to the point. It comes back down just behind the net, but Gillis was ready for it.
Got to have better vision if you're the killers for this Cougars team. Matt Olson was very late recognizing where that player was behind the net.
Puck knocked out of play. Butera going in. Big hit at center ice there at the blue line. Butera trying to enter the Riverkings zone shorthanded. All right, here comes Kaiser. Kaiser into the Cougar zone. Puck taken away. Shot down the ice and cleared by the Cougars. Chasing after it for the Cougars is Butera. Butera being a wreck here on the penalty kill for the Cougars.
Yeah, being a little physical definitely won't hurt you on the penalty kill. That is, you make those people afraid to make their entries, afraid that they're looking over their shoulder, that you're going to have Butera, bowing down or towering down on you.
All right, Harrison Cole with the puck trying to feed Tyler Harkins. Harkins along the near boards. Center ice dumps it into the zone. Puck Van Bockelen coming in, 2-on-1 for the Riverkings. Shot save! Tremendous save by Dylan Gillis there on the 2-on-1 attempt on the power play for the Riverkings. Riverkings maintain control. Gorellis, puck stolen away. Check, knocked down there. We have some physicality going on here with Harrison Cole. Nothing being called at the moment.
That could have been called an interference as he really tied up Gavin Nickerson.
And Nickerson was not too happy about that. All right, Palermo trying to come into the Riverkings zone. Loses the puck. Now we got some chippy play going on. Tyler Carey going after Gavin Nickerson, and Nickerson throwing punches. Carey and Nickerson, and they go down to the ice, and the refs break it up.
Nickerson was not happy with the hit and interference that was put on him, and he went back right away and put a big hit onto Tyler Carey.
Well, both of these guys are going to be gone, and they're going to be suspended for the next game. Gavin Nickerson, it was just to a point where he couldn't take it anymore. He wasn't going to let that player just come and do that to him, so he said, fine, I'm going to give you a couple of shots. We'll see what ends up happening here. If they get fighting calls, they're both gone, but they're both going into the box, so maybe they're fine. Maybe they're going to be able to stay in this game. I'm a little shocked if that's the case. But you saw Nickerson, he dropped the gloves because the gloves were dropped by the player who was hitting him.
Yeah, Tyler Carey came over to defend his player, which rightfully so. But you usually don't see that level of fighting and intensity.
You never want to take
the 2-on-1.
You never want to take a fighting major because it means you lose a game. That's what usually happens. So I guess Nickerson's going to be able to stay in this game. Maybe they just say because he was defending himself. I don't know.
And there you see that what should have been probably called an interference penalty on the Riverkings as
there was no puck possession
totally
there.
held up and was not allowed, or holding it worse. He was not given the opportunity to go and make a play on the puck.
We're going to see here too when the hit comes in eventually, which is going to be, I think, right here. You're going to see Nickerson. He comes in,
puts a big hit on Harkins.
You know what? It wasn't a hit too. I mean, he didn't take a couple extra strides. It's one stride, and then he delivers a hit actually to the front of the player. It's a little bit high, but he still gets him in the chest. It looks like it's tough to tell if his hands were higher than that or not. But it definitely would have been called a boarding, I would have thought. And then you have here the player come in on Nickerson, not happy with that, and that's when things happen. He pulled off the helmet of Nickerson, and you see him trying to grab him, and Nickerson trying to get him away, and actually Nickerson's the one who throws punches first.
Yeah, you can't really blame Carey too much for what he probably thought was a dirty hit at the time. In full speed, in real time, that looked like a big hit.
And it was a big hit. I mean, it still probably would have been called a boarding. When you see at the end here, you know what? The gloves are off first, though, by Carey. That I didn't even notice that. He threw his glove off first and his stick down when he tied up Nickerson.
Refs are gathering now to probably decide, as we'll see another view here.
All right, so you're going to see Carey coming in right there. Gloves are already off.
Yeah, he threw off his gloves first, and then Nickerson just starts going in at him after that because I thought Nickerson, he was just defending himself is what it looked like. He wasn't going to sit there and take it from a player.
Yeah, he got a little frustrated. Now, you can't say he might have also had the elbow up on the hit on Tyler Harkins as well.
Right.
And as you said, Brett, at full speed, it's hard for any player to think that, well, is that a clean hit? Was that a dirty hit? Your instinct as your teammate, oh, that's a dirty hit, I'm going to go protect my player.
I would say it's a hit that's a penalty. It's an illegal hit. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And you see here the refs and the two captains talking over exactly what happened and what's going to be happening. The captains are the only players that are allowed to talk with the referees in this manner.
And this is a situation, too, where it is very serious discussion. When you look at it for the player that went out for both teams, it's important players if they're both gone, because they're not just gone for the rest of this game, they're gone for tomorrow's games.
And one of them we mentioned is Carey. We've said his name plenty of times tonight.
You're right, Tyler Carey, who, when you look at it for this team, he's one of the top 5 scorers for the Riverkings. He's got 48 points on the year, or 49 points,
That's not including his goal tonight, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's not including the goal tonight. So he's a very important player for this Riverkings team. And then when you look at it on the other side for the Cougars, it's your leading scorer, 60 points on the year for Gavin Nickerson. So two important guys on either side.
And Nickerson now getting some treatment by the training staff on his hand, obviously from the fight.
Took a hard spill, too, when he went down at the end of it.
And that's where I think everything, you have to be curious of how they're going to decide to call this one. And like you said, you have captains representing either side. Matt Olson, one of the captains for this team. And then on the other end, you've got, I believe that is Austin Luxford in there talking too. So what needs to get sorted out, what are the penalties for either side? Nickerson still being looked at too by the trainer. Where are the penalties on either side? Try not to interrupt my own thought. So what penalties go up on the board is question number 1. Question number 2, who gets kicked out already kicked out, I'm pretty sure, was Carey. I think Tyler Carey, they already sent him to the locker room.
Right.
So he's gone for sure. Nickerson is in the box. So what happens with Gavin Nickerson? Where does the face-off go is another question, too. And what are the penalty times?
And is there going to be any sort of shorthanded power play opportunity for either team here? So we're going to see. So Nickerson remains in the box. Unfortunately, we don't have the stadium audio. They're having some audio difficulties, so we weren't able to hear any of the penalty calls today. We will look to the board, though, and see if there are any penalty opportunities. Nothing on the board as of yet, though.
Yeah, still sorting it out. It looks like Olsen may not be super happy with what is occurring, as now they bring in Kitchie to serve the penalty.
Michael Sicci, right, coming in.
Looks like there goes Nickerson. They look to be kicking him out.
All right, so Nickerson is leaving the arena, so he is out for the rest of the game.
As you had mentioned, Eric, we don't have the audio feed, so our man Chris is on his way down to sort out exactly what the call is, so we can be as accurate as possible for all of you listening.
All right, so we have just over 11 minutes to go, and you're going to get here's another look at the fight taking place here at the 11-minute mark of the third period. Cougars trailing 3-2, had a little momentum, trying to get into the Cougar zone. They were carrying most of the play this period until this point happened, and then we're going to have to see what happens. So you're taking off the best offensive player for one of the best offensive players for the Cougars in Nickerson, so he's not available. You still have Zavane, you still have Raybeck, you still have a lot of offensive firepower on the team, but you also took off Tyler Carey for the Riverkings.
Which we mentioned, top 5 scorer for Wisconsin.
Right, so it's going to affect both teams, but obviously we'll see how the momentum shifts as we learn more from Chris about the penalty calls.
So I went down there, guys, did a little bit of investigative work to find out what the penalties were. We'll start with the Cougars. You have a 5 for fighting on Gavin Nickerson and a game misconduct. He is gone, so that means he'll also be gone for tomorrow.
Okay.
On the other side, you have a call on Tyler Carey for 5 for fighting and a game misconduct, but also a instigating call.
Okay, so there should be a power play for the Cougars?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe that's what it'll be. Just have to figure everything else out.
Interesting to see that Nickerson did not get a penalty for his hit on Tyler Harkins.
Well, the official was looking right at that hit. He had a better view than we did from his angle of what had happened. So if he didn't think there was a hit, I mean, you can see the official will be clearly looking at it when it comes up. He's right there to see what had happened. So whatever he decides to call, that's his decision.
And you don't want to think it's a makeup call because of the possible interference call you could have called earlier.
Yeah, you saw it was right in the ref's point of view. He had turned around just as the hit was happening.
And it's hard to tell when it's that fast, too, what to call.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So, but I mean, you can already see the Riverkings players going into their end, so it definitely looks like it's going to be a penalty.
And you have to be very careful for the rest of this game. You can only imagine what that fight does for the mentality of both teams. This might be a much chippier game for the remaining 11 minutes.
Well, here's the thing: if that's what happens, the officials aren't going to let that happen. That's when you start to see a revolving door for the penalty box.
And I don't think the coaches want to see that happen as well. You talked about when you get involved in these scrums, you get fighting majors and game misconducts.
I think it's going to be 4-on-3 here too, maybe, guys. I see 4 players. Well, I do see a 5th out there for the Cougars too, so maybe it will be 5-on-4. So, yeah, we do have 5 and 4. So it looks like they're going to put that face-off too, and this near dot is where it looks like it's going to go.
All right, we're just waiting for the referees to reset the game.
They still don't have the penalty up on the board, though. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And then the Cougars do need somebody to go into the box to I believe, sit in there for those penalties. I'm not sure, but I believe they do.
Matt Olson still talking it over with the referee.
You got both captains out there now for the Cougars. You got your captain, Mike Watson, and your captain, Matt Olson, and they both got C's on their jerseys, so they both can be in there for that conversation.
Austin Luxford for the Riverkings was there as well. He skated back over to the Riverkings bench. All right.
You got a 5 and a 2 up there. That's a little confusing. And they got the 5 on the Cougars. I don't think that's right. I think that 5 has to go away.
And you can see Olsen is trying to argue that that shouldn't be up there as well.
And then you should just have a 2 up there on the other side, I think is what it should be from what I was being told for what the calls were.
Which obviously, I mean, this can be a confusing situation. It's pretty rare now that you see fights like this happen in these minor leagues.
Because now they have another penalty up there on the Cougar side. So you got a 5 and a 2.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I don't think we have.
There's no 9 on the Cougars.
Yeah, there's no 9 on the Cougars.
Right. So something's off here. I think maybe they just put it on the wrong side. I'm not sure. Because the Cougars had 5 people out there originally. Now they only have 4. See, now this is also what's confusing. There's nobody in the box for either team.
Nobody in the box for either team. I see 4 skaters for the Riverkings, 5 skaters now.
So it looks like it's just going to be 5 on 5.
No, it looks like 4 skaters for the Cougars, 5 skaters for the Riverkings. So it looks like a 5-minute major. 5-minute major penalty for Nickerson. So maybe that play was called.
Maybe they changed
aborted.
their mind since I went down there, I guess.
They could have given him a 5-minute major and offsetting fighting penalties.
All right, so the Cougars have their work cut out for them. A 5-minute major they have to fend off, as well as trailing 3-2 here with just over 10 minutes to go in the third period with the Riverkings on the power play. Puck along the far boards, Olsen. Puck knocked away, picked up by Reed Kaiser. Kaiser dumps it along the line. That's Van Bockelen. Van Bockelen behind the net. Picked up, shot over the side, picked up by Kaiser. Kaiser near board, dumps it, picked up by the Cougars, and the Cougars clear.
Not a lot really going on in that first minute for the Riverkings. Yeah, they moved the puck around a bunch, but no shots really on Dylan Gillis. Cougars will take that.
Yeah, he's very clean in that session there. All right, Kaiser carrying the puck over right wing side in the near slot. Puck knocked away by the Cougars at the point. Gorellis keeps it in. Knocked back out, though, by the Cougars. Tyler Harkins swings it on over to Van Bockelen at the blue line, and the Cougars clear. Harkins over to Harrison Cole. Harkins at his own blue line, chips it forward to Kaiser. Kaiser feeds it into Van Bockelen. Van Bockelen drops it back to point to Gorellis. Down low to Van Bockelen, far corner. Feeds it in, shot wide, not on net. Back to the point, Gorellis. Gorellis swings it over to Cole near point. Shot on net, save, nice save there by Dylan Gillis. Puck cleared, Van Bockelen behind the goal. Feeds it over, back to the point, Gorellis. Gorellis, shoot. Pad save there by Gillis. Cole knocks it back behind the net, Van Bockelen. Van Bockelen swings it on over to Hauk. Van Bockelen going in the corner, fighting for it with Olsen. Puck cleared out of the zone by the Cougars. Chasing after it is Austin Luxford.
I think what you're seeing on this power play for the Riverkings is almost a cautious one. Really, they're killing 5 minutes off the rest of this game clock while they have the lead. All they really need to do is play it safe and not give up a shorthanded goal.
Anthony Zavane coming in on Nelson. Swings it on over, tried to get it to Watson. Sticked aside by Nelson. So almost near shorthanded attempt for the Cougars there.
They just wanted to prove me wrong.
All right, Mance trying to dump it in. No success there. Puck knocked into the neutral zone. Mance, one more attempt to dump it in. Zavane picks it up, shoots it on net down to the Riverkings end. Sticked aside by Nelson. And puck picked up. Skating with it is Luxford. Luxford over to Heller. Heller swinging it on over to Tyler Harkins. Tyler Harkins at center ice. Dumps it over. Harkins skating in all alone. Coming in on Gillis. Soft shot. Pad save by Gillis. And the puck cleared all the way on net. Nelson sticks it away. The puck picked up by Van Bockelen for the Riverkings with just over a minute and a half left on the Riverkings power play. All right, coming in is Zatera. Zatera looking for a shorthanded attempt. No luck there. Heller with the puck. Swings it on over to Harkins. Harkins rings it behind the Cougars net. Fighting for it, the near corner there is Heller and Olsen. Olsen swings it out. Puck all the way down to the Riverkings far corner. Nelson steers it over to Van Bockelen. Van Bockelen. Pass goes awry. Shot attempt. Save there. So a quick shot attempt on a loose puck opportunity for the Cougars. All right. Gorellis getting it all over to Van Bockelen. Van Bockelen dumps it behind the Cougars' net. Gillis looks to play it. Schiffman steers it around far side. Picked up by Raybeck. Cody Raybeck coming in one-on-one. And he stood up there. Nice play by Heller to stand up Cody Raybeck. And the Riverkings take possession. Van Bockelen shooting the puck in the net. Behind the net. Picked up by Schiffman. Schiffman tangled with the puck there. Centered it for the Riverkings. Shot, save attempt there, and it's in.
It started a beautiful, incredible save by Dylan Gillis, but he was so sprawled out, he couldn't do anything to try and cover that puck up. He just had to dive across, and he got it with his glove, and eventually the Riverkings are able to hit it back in.
You'll see Luxford come across, makes a really nice move to pass it out to Ryan Mance, who tries to wait long enough, but then you do see Gillis with a great save, but nobody around to pick that puck back up.
Well, and here's the thing, too. When you look at it from Dylan Gillis' perspective, I don't know why he goes down to the ice the way he does. I mean, if he just stays with his feet, he has a chance to get over there because all he has to do is slide over to that other post. He actually ended up hindering himself.
He seemed to fall forward a little bit, and that's what caused him to sprawl
out.
out.
It's like his legs or pads got tied up there. It's unfortunate now the Cougars trail 4-2 with just over 6 minutes to play here in the third period. The 5-minute major just about to expire for the Riverkings, or for the Cougars, and then we'll be back at even strength. All right, Zavane picks up the puck, steers it on in to the Riverkings zone, coming in on Nelson, shot score!
Oh.
Nifty little goal there by Jesper Lundberg on the feed from Anthony Zavane.
Really, it was a speed power move. He had the defenseman with his weight forward, and he just skated right past him around, as you'll see as we have the replay coming up here.
What a power turn.
So puck dumped in. Lundberg just rips around the corner. Nelson didn't have a chance.
And you talk about how that was a deflating goal there on the end of that 5-minute major. That picture right back up, that's a huge goal. Jesper Lundberg wearing an A on his chest for a reason.
So a huge critical goal there for the Cougars, and that makes score 4-3 with a little over 5.5 minutes left in the third period. And it looks like we have an icing call.
So that's also deflating for the Riverkings. You have a chance here, maybe try and create something, and then you cause an icing. Instead, you're kind of back on your heels, and you give them that offensive zone draw, which the Cougars want.
So you've got the replay here just down of the Riverkings end of just a fascinating play made by Lundberg.
And the Cougars get a shot off the draw. Easy save there for Nelson. So,
but Lundberg again, though.
Serve it back up. Cody Raybeck at center here now.
Him and Letmansky and Lundberg the line right now. So you're seeing things jumbled even more because of Gavin Nickerson being out.
Yeah, absolutely. Riverkings win the draw. Try to ring it around the boards. Picked up by the Riverkings. Kept in the zone there by Laterra. And the Cougars skating around with Lundberg. Van Bockelen cues it up to Tyler Carey. Tyler Carey knocks it into the Cougar zone where Gillis slows it down. Hunter Schiffman will pick it up. Schiffman feeding it over to Lundberg. And picked up by Tyler Harkins of the Riverkings. Center ice dumps it into the Cougar zone. And Harkins will go off for a change. Into the near corner, puck is. Coming out of it is Lettinen. Skating it up, trying to feed Zavane. Zavane chasing after it. Cougars try and keep possession. Knocked away, though, by Heller. And here comes Van Bockelen. They might have a 2-on-1 here. The Cougars get back nicely. Puck fed over. Save! Nice save there by Dylan Gillis on the Cougars. Puck in. Uh-oh. Not sure if we're going to get a delay of game call here.
Well, they're lucky it's not the NHL because then they would.
Well, they would. Okay.
Unspoken hero of the last one, Joey Palermo, hustled his butt back to get back on the defensive end to prevent a 2-on-1 breakaway.
So we're going to have a face-off in the Cougars zone. Looks like going to take a look at the replay here. Face-off is Austin Luxford for the River Kings. Cougars win the draw. Schiffman behind the net, battling. Cougars come out with it. Watson over to Schiffman. Schiffman to Palermo. Palermo bringing it out of the Cougars zone. Temporarily knocked away center ice. Palermo dumps it in. And the River Kings pick it up. Mance trying to feed Luxford. Luxford dumps it into the Cougar zone behind the net. Olsen. Pass got away. Feeds to Luxford. So we had a giveaway there, and Luxford picked up the puck. Shot attempt on Gillis. He was able to save it, and puck frozen. So let's take a look at that opportunity for the River Kings.
Yeah, you don't want to see a player with that much ice in front of him. There's nobody. After the chase is put on demands, nobody's there to defend Luxford. He's wide open shot. Luckily, he shot it right into the chest of Gillis.
Well, good job by Gillis, too. He got out on top of his crease. He cut down the angle, made himself big to make that save. So give a lot of credit, too, to the Cougars goalkeeper.
And originally I called that a turnover. That was actually just a hustle play by the River Kings. They were able to win the puck in a puck battle, beating Olsen. All right, Van Dyke with the puck, dumps it into the River Kings zone. Puck dumped out the center ice. Van Dyke swings it back into the Cougar zone. Olsen feeding Rayback. Rayback trying to make a centering pass, blocked by the River Kings. Back out of the point. Olsen trying to save a breakaway attempt there for the Cougars. Here's Rayback. Rayback over the River Kings line. Gets around Gorellis. Feeds it on net. Nobody there, and Nelson freezes the puck with 3:10 to go here in the third period. All right,
let's instant replay of the shot here as it's run in the zone by Rayback. Makes a nice little move to get around the outside of the defender, but that's when you need more people crashing to the net.
Cougars are on a change there. That's the one thing, too. Got to have a little more awareness if you're Rayback. Maybe take that puck behind, let your team catch up, or even pull up along the boards.
Yep, delay the action a little bit because there was no help whatsoever. And five players he was trying to get through. All right, Zvane with the puck. Swings it on over far side in front of the net. Trying to battle with is Sammy Zatera. Shot from the point, Palermo wide to the left of Nelson. Puck kept in by Olsen. And the River Kings dump it out, chasing after it for the Cougars. And puck picked up by Butera. Butera trying to enter the River Kings zone. Lost the puck. Knocked down at the Cougars blue line by Rayback. And a little battle at center ice. Now puck dumped in the corner. Gillis picks up the puck for the Cougars. Leaves it for Olsen. Olsen carrying the puck forward. Over to Butera. Butera trying to get around Van Bokkelen. No good. Van Bokkelen steals. Feeds Kaiser. Kaiser dumps it behind the Cougars net. And it's picked up by Joey Palermo. Palermo swings it wide into the Wisconsin River Rapids zone. There is no icing there. Puck picked up. Coming up play is Tyler Harkins. Harkins leaving it for Heller. Back to Harkins. Harkins skating at center ice, making some moves, but he's not able to break through. And Cody Rayback into the River King zone. Stick save, pad save by Nelson. Rayback trying to do a wraparound. Shot attempt does not get on net. Going into the corner for the Cougars is Lundberg. Lundberg and Watson. And we have a player down.
When Dylan Gillis was going to the bench for the extra attacker there, you saw him in the corner of your screen start to go, but then that puck got pinned up there, so now you get the offensive zone draw. It actually helps Cougars out because now you win the puck. You don't have to worry about your goalie coming off the ice. He's already going to be off there because you're down in that end.
All right, so all the offensive firepower for the Cougars on the ice at the moment. Obviously, Anthony Zavane is on there. We have Cody Rayback. Shot attempt blocked. Near corner, Cougars battling. And we have another scrum in the near corner. Puck loose, Watson trying to swing it around. Watson, Lundberg, and Zavane all in the corner fighting against Harrison Cole. Cole doing a nice job trying to maintain puck possession. Puck comes to the point. Schiffman tried to swing it on net. It was blocked in the slot. Puck out of the zone and dumped forward. And we're going to have an empty net goal. Austin Luxford's going to put it into the net for the River Kings, and that'll pretty much seal this game up. 5-3 now, River Kings over the Cougars here with just under a minute to play.
And you watch this again here for the Cougars. They just couldn't keep control of the puck. the decision making there towards the end of that is what cost them. You got to get it back down deep if you're getting that much pressure out up near the point. You have to get it deep, allow your team to at least battle for the puck. Instead, now you're down by 2, and now you've got to try and get a quick goal here and then another quick goal. And now if you're Coach Stofers, do you pull Gillis when you get the puck back down in? What do you decide to do here is another question too.
So you're just under a minute to go. Center ice face-off, so we're going to see if they're going to pull the goalie or not.
Well, I see people going towards the benches. I think we're going to have a timeout here first. Timeout by the Cougars happens first.
Okay.
So they're going to talk it over here with the last 59 seconds that are left in this game. There's no quitting Brad Stofers in this team. They know how important of a game that this is, Eric.
It is a very important game. It's an important game for both teams, but obviously it's important for the Cougars. You just maintained first place. You just moved yourself in a position to control your own destiny, and then you have an effort like this one. This will be a frustrating loss for the Cougars if they're unable to answer.
And it's a little frustrating, too, how they end up getting the empty netter as well when you look at it, Eric, because they had the opportunity potentially to create something. They had, I thought off the draw, they win the draw cleanly, and I didn't like the quick shot. I would have liked the puck moved a little bit more before you get a shot, especially because you have Anthony Zvane, who's probably the most dangerous player on the Cougars, sitting in the high slot, waiting. There was nobody around him. Get him a one-timer in a better area than where the first shot came from. I just didn't like it from the beginning for the Cougars. Not that they didn't create some things. I just thought there was better opportunities than what they went with.
And you have to give credit to Harrison Cole in that corner battle. It was 1 against 3, and he was able to at least keep that puck moving and prevent the Cougars from taking possession and making some cycle.
And that's the other thing, too. You get up there, you get in that spot where you're battling for the puck, hit it as hard as you can down into the corner. Just get your team a chance to battle for the puck again. And they're killing Dillon and Gillis right off now, so it's going to be 6 attackers on the start.
All right, so the Cougars win the draw. Raybeck dumps it in. Near corner behind the Riverkings net. Gorellis picks up the puck, gets it over to Harrison Cole. Harrison Cole swings it around near side. And the puck dumped all the way down into the Cougar zone. Chasing after it is Van Bockelen and Schiffman going after him.
Doesn't matter because he beats him there for that icing, because that would have been one if they get there first for the Cougars.
Zvane tried to make a feed there. Puck stolen away. Van Bockelen trying to feed Kaiser. And the clock ticking down here on the Cougars. Kaiser in the slot. Puck taken away by Zvane. Zvane and Raybeck coming in on the Riverkings. Zvane trying to get around Harrison Cole, and he was upended in the process. So Cole coming up big here, but he might have injured himself badly on that check. He's still writhing in pain on the ice at the moment as the clock ticks down.
And you're having talks go between both teams here. I want to see that again because if anything, the person who should get blamed is the player on the Wisconsin Rapids Riverkings. He's the one who initiates everything. So you see Zvane here. He's going to try and go around. He makes the move around, and then you see the player go down, and Zvane's trying to go over, and he brings the back leg and actually catches Zvane. That's a trip. Isn't that tell me if I'm wrong here, but that's actually a trip. Now, I know he gets hurt, but there's nobody to blame here. If you're the Riverkings, then your own player.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. It'd be one thing if the hit was all hip. And initially that looked like what it was going to be, but as you can see here, he sticks out his leg.
Sticks his leg out, and he actually ends up causing himself.
Now he's up on the ice for a moment, and then all of a sudden he goes down.
Oh, and then he goes down afterwards. So it was after that. We'll see what
watch the slash here. So we're going to get a slash by Zvane
right on the leg. That's where it is. Okay. Because I didn't see that. I saw the initial part.
All right, we got some activity going on here between both teams.
Yeah, Jesper Lomberg and a couple of other players all tied up with each other.
You know, both teams need to be careful here. They can't afford to have players getting suspended for games, getting into fights. Refs are trying to take control of this as best they can.
I mean, and here's the thing. Now, you definitely have a penalty then that should go against Zvane, right?
Right.
But then you should probably also have a penalty that goes on the Riverkings. It's no good that there's retaliation that came from the Cougars, but it wasn't good to start. But two wrongs don't make a right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it's at a point now where both teams just got to try and get control of each other, Start throwing out players if you're the officials, because you should, because both teams right now are not, and they're just going to end the game here, which is actually probably the right decision anyways. So they just let the rest of the clock run out.
And a little more emphasis on the celebration from the Wisconsin Rapids Riverkings.
Well, they get one win against the Cougars is the thing. They lost the first 3 meetings against them, so now they move to a 1-3 record against them. Now, the obviously, if they end up tying the Cougars in points, then that doesn't really matter there, because you're not going to catch them if you're even. You have to get above them is the thing. So this is a big loss for the Cougars, because now they really have to have other teams help them out. They want to stay in first place.
All right, we're going to get a look on the ice there. Brett Gogol is down on the ice, and it looks like he has Matt Olson with him, I believe.
Yeah, so we'll go to him in just a second. Obviously, for the Riverkings, this is a good game. You win the game, 5-3 win against the team that's in first place. So you have to be happy with that win. But I think we're ready to go down now. So,
all right, so let's go down to Brett Gogol on the ice with Matt Olson.
Sorry about that. We are down here with Captain Matt Olson of the Cougars. Matt, I know it's obviously a little bit of a tough loss, and things got a little chippy there at the end. As the captain, what's your message to your team as that's going on as you head into the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get, frustrated at the end there. We just got to keep our cool. I know we didn't play like we wanted to in that first period, so we got a little frustrated with ourselves. If we just come out and play hard like we're supposed to, that stuff doesn't happen.
So obviously now you've got another game tomorrow. How do you guys take what you learned today and rebound and try to get the win tomorrow?
Yeah, we just got to learn to come out faster and harder, play physical. That first period kind of killed us there. We came out a little slow. We got to let the chippiness behind here, let it go. It's over. Focus on tomorrow's opponent.
Alrighty. Thank you, Matt. We're going to send it right back up to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Brett. So, Chris, again, a very disappointing loss for the Cougars.
Yeah.
You're coming from last weekend where you're on that high, where you've opened up a gap over the Dells Ducks.
2-3, yeah.
And then your first game back, you get off to a slow start. You have to play catch-up. And then you have a late goal you let up in the second period, and you're just unable to respond in the third.
Exactly, and that's really what it all came down to. And when you look on the scoreboard, there's going to be a lot of things that tell you that this is a game the Cougars probably shouldn't have lost. But when you have those it was mental lapses for the Cougars. It wasn't things that they were doing wrong physically. They have the ability. It's about keeping the mental focus. It's in between the ears that matters more right now for the Cougars, keeping the ferocity, the intensity, and playing the way the Cougars play. They didn't do that tonight. Yes, they outshot them for the Riverkings, but you had a pretty hot goalie in net for the Riverkings who really made some huge saves for them. Your goalie, even though he only saw 21 shots, that's a lot of shots for the Cougars. Normally, they like to get their teams shooting in the teams that they're playing against at times. So from that perspective as well, didn't play as good as you normally do. I mean, it's still only 21 shots. Shouldn't be complaining too much. Most teams want that for two periods, not 3.
Right.
So you did okay there, but you let up a lot of grade A chances. That's what the stat won't show you for the shots, and that was one of the biggest things. You watch here at the end, they're able to get that puck out, and then this is what ends up creating everything towards the end that happens. You see the Lake come out here going on Anthony Zavane, and then he retaliates and gives the chop to the leg right here, right into that right leg, which is and he just goes down right away as the player for the Riverkings. And that's kind of when everything happens after that, as everything kind of explodes, and then you have the scrum at the end. Now, players for the Cougars and the Riverkings alike have to be careful. I know both of these teams have games tomorrow. You already have one guy gone from either side already. Now you have the potential for more.
And Gavin Nickerson, he'll probably admit once the dust settles and some of the emotions of the game come away, probably not his shining moment. Going after the hit, getting involved in the fight. Now I know he was approached in the fight, but the hit that generated it all kind of started it, and it stemmed from the frustration from what he probably thought was an interference call at center ice.
Right, and here's the thing too: you can't let the officials get into your head because they're not calling things you think should be called. You can't let that happen. You have to keep yourself sane and normal and not allow yourself to really get caught in that. I mean, when you look at it, for you, Brett, you had a better view because you were down there. What was the feeling from the team as they were walking off the ice since you really saw them as they were leaving?
As you can expect, everyone was pretty PO'd, let's put it. There was, especially Coach Stofers, I talked to him a little bit as he was coming off the ice ahead of time. You could tell he was pretty upset with how his team had acted in the game. So, obviously, talking to Olsen, he took it pretty well. And I think with that type of leadership, they'll be able to move on. But down on ice level, you could tell that both teams were really upset as to what was going on.
And I don't think they were upset with each other is the funny thing. I think they were more upset with everything else that was happening because when you have a player go down, as soon as the other team touches the puck, if it's your player on your team, you touch the puck, that should stop the whistle right away. You heard a lot of Riverkings players unhappy because that whistle didn't come right away. That needs to happen when you have a guy down writhing in pain. And of course, they didn't see Zvane what he did, but they also didn't see the leg go out that caused Zvane to retaliate. So those are things that they're out of the team's control, but you can't let it affect your play and affect the way that the game goes, and that's clearly what happened at the end.
It is exactly what happened. We talked about it prior to that point. The Cougars had the momentum. They may not have had grade A chances coming on, but they were coming. They were starting to solve and do the chip and chase game. And as soon as that happened with Nickerson, and unfortunately then they had to kill off a 5-minute major penalty, any momentum they had in that first half of the period was lost. And I think that took the wind out of their sails.
Well, and here's the thing, too. This is kind of a team now. We know that it's a team near the top, but with the Cougars, they beat them 3-2 in a very close game in the first one, in which Dylan Gillis played outstanding. Then in the second game, they beat them 4-1. They beat the Riverkings, did the Cougars. So they really took it to them the second game. Then the third time they played each other, it was a pretty good beating by the Cougars. They won 5-2. So this was a team out for revenge as well in the Riverkings because they were down 0-3 in the series over the season to them. So they came in here with a chip on their shoulder, and they played like it throughout most of the game, and that's why they got the win.
I think the main thing to keep an eye on will be that these teams do play one more time before the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I can only imagine that both the coaches are going to have to be very strict in terms of how they approach that game to see that something like this doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah, when you look at the schedule that's going to be brought up here for you right now, when you have the Riverkings was that game, then the next game will be the Decatur Blaze. That'll be here tomorrow. Then they have the game at the Leafs Center on the 30th, the Blaine Energy they play. At the Sears Center. Then at the Leafs Center, Decatur Blaze again. And then the rest of the schedule, they'll play the Motor City Hawks 3 times, and then they do play Wisconsin back up in Wisconsin. So chance to make it a 3-2 series. So no matter what, the Cougars will have more wins. But for the Riverkings to get it at least one more game closer in one of the last games before you're getting ready to go in the playoffs, that game's going to have a lot of meaning.
Yeah, and we talked about, even though the Cougars will have the season series record regardless of what happens that second game, sometimes it's how you're playing going into the stretch run there. And clearly, Wisconsin is on the up. The arrow's pointing up. Not that the Cougars aren't either. I mean, they were able to overtake the Ducks for first place, but the Riverkings are coming.
Yes, they definitely are, and that's the other thing, too, for the Cougars. You're no longer safe as the first-place team. This loss here tonight, you need to try and win out if you want to have a chance, because you don't see the Dells Ducks anymore. You don't see the SCV Magicians anymore, who is the third-place team. So you don't see the other top 2 teams. Everything is out of your hands now, where before this, it was really in their control. Now, it might still slightly if they can win out, but still, you've put yourself behind the 8 ball.
And kind of in those one weird twist of fate type things, Brett, the Cougars might actually be rooting for the Riverkings because they're going ahead and playing the Ducks in the next 2 games.
That's always a little bit hard. I think rooting might be a strong word for it. They might
have a keen interest, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, especially after the way that this game went, it's going to be very a begrudging thing to want the Riverkings to win any more games. That is for sure.
Yes. All right, so that'll about do it here at the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates. The Cougars fall to the Wisconsin Rapids Riverkings 5-3, And we're going to have another broadcast tomorrow.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock at the Sears Center again, where the Cougars will take on the Decatur Blaze at 8 p.m. here on SportsTownChicago.com. For Brett Gogol and Chris Labasco, I'm Eric Willowite. We want to thank you for listening to tonight's broadcast, and we will talk to you tomorrow.